This episode is brought to you by thedolphinwars.com.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin Television, episode number 314. I am Raymond. I am the author of the Dolphin Wars trilogy of books and ruler of the greatest pod on YouTube. And I'd like to welcome you to our third annual Veterans Day podcast. We started this right after, for those who are new to the channel here, right after I did the start of the channel, I wanted to celebrate Veterans Day by bringing on veterans and interviewing them. It's part of the things we do here on King Dolphin TV to bring you interesting things, interesting people, and great interviews. And Wendy is here. She was actually our first veteran on our very first Veterans Day interview. So. And thank you, Wendy. And I would like to welcome, you know him as Herc 130. He goes by Cal. Pleasure to meet you, sir. You were on last year. We had Agent Pepsi 1 on.
Yeah. She was awesome. I actually did that interview from a car in a parking lot in Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, should this be the fourth one? Okay, we have Wendy. Then I had Cat and Old Man. Then, my goodness. Okay, I must be having a senior moment. Legatus, help me out. Sam, help me out. Is this the third or the fourth?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a Veterans Day. It's a Veterans Day show, and where I interview veterans. Okay, we're gonna do this a little differently tonight since you've been on before. Since we've done this before. But first, let me go with my usual spiel. If you like what we're doing here, if you like these interviews, if you like these interviews, if you like Just Cause over the weekend, and if you just enjoy the fun here at the pod, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give me some watch hours. I could show you some watch hours. That's all I need is the watch hours before I can get monetized. But in the meantime, if you are so inclined, I did pin the okay, we've had 4. I'm sorry. We have had 4 because Wendy came on 2021. Okay. So if you're so inclined, I pinned the tip link on the top of the chat. Please put some ducats in the bucket. Help this channel grow. Help keep the lights on. help me with StreamYard. Oh my God.
Yes.
That was not fun. But yes, please help out the channel. And let me welcome everybody who has come visiting the channel.
I'm trying not to read Snortopupus's comments. They make me laugh.
Why? They're so much fun. Now, but Phantom is he's tough to he's tough on the on Snortopupus. All right. So let me welcome. We've got two Phantoms here. We've got Phantom Outsider. Hello, Phantom Outsider. I hope you are doing well. And also, we have the Phantom Boomer Explorers.
Yeah.
Hello there, and welcome. And now it comes to my amazing. I see that, Snort. I see that. I know you're just a sensitive, gentle bear. Yeah. So let me welcome my amazing lifeguard crew. We have my amazing producer, my other half, Sandra. Welcome.
Yay.
Hello, Pudgy. Pudgy, everyone bounces happily with a little flag. U.S. Welcome, Pudgy. It is good to see you. Okay, so we got Pudgy Hedgehog. Make sure. And I'm sure Cobalt is in the background. Hello, Cobalt. And yeah, okay. So
Phantom Boomer is a good friend of mine. I'm glad to see him in here tonight.
Oh, cool. So Sandra, this is the Sandra Feliciano production, and it's King Dolphin TV in color. Love you, honey. We've got my two co-hosts. We've got Wendy Webb, who I just mentioned, and we've got John Rendo Fez Forever here. Yeah. Welcome. And then the gentleman who has beaten Legatus Legion I in Tim, FKHC 2005. Welcome, sir. We've got Legatus Legion I, my amazing questioner and researcher. And to me, he's always the first one in, the last one out. And the amazing, the hardest working bear on the internet, Snortopupus Cuber. So welcome one, welcome all. And let us get moving. What we're gonna do tonight, I'm gonna questions. I'm not gonna wait for questions, and we're not gonna wait for questions. So if you want to do a question, we can pop a question. There's no script on this show at all tonight. This is gonna be just two old Air Force retirees talking about our time there, because I haven't really mentioned anything about mine during any of the things. It's always been about you guys. Right. It's always about trying to find out about you guys. So I thought it would be okay for me to tell about my story, and then we'll talk about Hurt. Unless Hurt you want to go first.
You know what? Honestly, I'd like to hear your story.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it started. When I was knee high to a flea, I always wanted to be an astronaut, and then so I thought maybe going to the academy, trying to get into the academy. So I worked on it, but I wasn't one of the better students out there, and I was also skinny. You got to be able to do the exercises and stuff like that. So, and the Bane, a girl got into the mix as well. So the Academy kind of fell through. But hello, Disney Sheepherder. So I didn't go into the Academy, but at the same time, I didn't want to. I wanted to go to college, but I didn't want to really fight for the have my parents put themselves in debt for college. So I decided to join the Air Force. Went walked by a recruiting office in 1978, and walked in, said, "Do you have a job where I can work with computers?" And they said I can go into telecommunications. I said, okay. So in August 78, August 28, 19. Isn't it funny? You remember that? Almost like it was yesterday. August 28, 1978, I was stepping onto the grounds of Blackland for 6 weeks of fun. 6 weeks of fun. And then, so graduated from basic, was always in restriction. For some reason, our flight always got restricted. We were able to go out, we were able to go to church, go to chow, but that was about it.
Do you remember your flight number?
234.
Wow.
Yeah.
What squadron? Do you remember that?
I don't know. I could probably go to my ratty old yearbook. I think
I was 3701st.
I think I was 3077.
Yeah.
I was 3077. But I was flight 234. Had a the lead DI was a buck sergeant male. The assistant was a buck sergeant female. So, we didn't go. The only thing I did outside of town was we went to a Spurs game. Spurs? Yeah. San Antonio Spurs. We went to a Spurs game. That was about it. But that was my basic training. I didn't go to tech school. They just sent me to the garden spot of the world, Duluth, Minnesota, for a direct duty assignment.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get there. I don't remember. I think it was mid-October. It was mid-October that I went. Duluth is beautiful. I considered it San Francisco with snow because it's like built on the side of it's on Lake Superior, and it's built on the side of a cliff. So you got to be very brave to go drive down the cliff to get down to the downtown area. Downtown means downtown because the base is up on top, and the downtown is over by the shoreline. So, and it's cold.
Right.
And it's cold there. My dad loaned me a pickup truck so I had transportation. In a negative 32 degree day, I had to pick somebody up, started the car, revved the car, blew a rod.
Oh.
Yeah. My first ever loan. So I had a credit rating. But yeah, Duluth was okay. And did some college there as well. Had met my first wife there, and only stayed there. Only stayed there 2 years before I got my assignment to Italy.
What was the name of that first base you were at?
Duluth. It was Duluth International Airport.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a NORAD region back when they had.
Gotcha.
Well, they still have NORAD, but it was still back when they had the NORAD regions. You had the big old black houses called the Sages.
Oh,
I worked
my
there.
goodness.
Let's see. Huh? Oh. Oops. Okay.
Here you go. Don't have to look at my mug anymore.
Yeah, thanks, producer. So, yeah, the weirdest thing I saw besides the big old blockhouse was the heat pipes that were not in the ground. You had heat pipes all over the place,
Right.
up on pedestals. So,
and they had those little ladders to walk over them. They had like little spots where you had stairs that could go up and down.
I'm sure the civil engineering people had that.
Yeah.
The barracks I was in was, I guess, appropriately called Animal House. I guess every place has an animal house where everybody is. We're always on restriction, etc., etc. Story of my life, but yeah. So it didn't have a name. It was just Duluth International Airport. They closed. They were constantly on the closed list, and they actually closed, I think, mid-'80s. Now the National Guard is on the other side of the airport. That's an F-16 unit. That was an F-16 unit, but not at the time. I think they had. I think they had 106s.
Yeah, 78. That'd be about right. Yeah.
They had 106s. So in March in '80, I went to Italy, but not Aviano. No. No, not me.
Way too easy.
No, yeah. So it was a small town supporting. It was a small town on the northwestern part of Italy, about 2 hours from Vicenza and 3 hours from Aviano. So we were in the middle of nowhere. We supported an Italian Air Force unit.
Wow.
That's all I can really.
Yeah.
That's all I'll be able to say about it, even though everybody else knows what was there. Of course, we don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Was it F-104s?
No, yeah, F-104s.
Yeah.
And then they converted to Tornados.
Yeah. There was a short segment where they were using F-16s for just a little bit for a stopgap, and then they went to Tornado.
Yeah, not at the base I was at. Might have been one of the others.
Yeah, the big Air Force. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, the U.S. Air Force Base had. They still do. But yeah, Aviano didn't have any permanent party 16s till probably about the 90s.
Yeah.
They closed Torrejon and moved those airplanes.
Yeah, from Spain.
Yeah. So I spent 3 years there. I was working in the comm center. And if you know anything about a comm center, most normal comm centers, they have, high-tech automatic encryptions. You can type in and it's gone. Right. It's gone. 9.5. I didn't have that. We had manual encryption devices,
Yeah.
which broke down just about every other night. There were nights I'd be over there at night, teletype tape up to me here
Oh.
that I couldn't process because my machine is broken. I'm over there using pencil erasers to clean off electrical contacts and saying, "What the heck am I here?" And this is on my 12th straight night shift.
Right.
Because we didn't have the personnel to give us decent time off.
Right.
Yeah. So about 3 years after that, I started looking at cross training. So I left. Yeah. Oh, Phantom Boomer knows the life of a 291. Yeah. Exactly. It's pretty bad when you have to call job control and wait 3 hours for someone from Aviano to bring you a new device. Like I said, I'm over there going, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I also had a worker radio too.
Yeah.
I had a worker radio. So it was the base itself, it was a very small, close-knit community. Well, for the most part, it was a close-knit community of Americans.
Right.
We had a little bitty shop we had a combined club. It wasn't NCO officer; it was a combined open desk.
Right.
Yeah, so we had that.
Did you live on base or did you live on the economy?
We lived on the economy. There were no on base.
Very cool.
Yeah, there was no on base facility.
Yeah.
So we to get groceries, we had to drive 2 hours to Vicenza, go to the hospital, 2 hours to Vicenza. So we mainly went to the Army base there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not bad. We got sightseeing wise, we got to see Rome, we got to see Venice. We went to Switzerland. So it was a fun time. We actually drove my new car through the Alps.
Oh yeah.
To bring it from Germany back down to Italy. So
the Autostrada.
Yep, the Autostrada and the mountains.
Mm-hmm. That's the Bern Pass.
Huh?
The Bern Pass through Germany, Switzerland, and down into Italy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Brenner Pass. No, it's Austria. That's Austria. So we did the tour there. I went into Target Intelligence, 201X1, and so we went from Italy to K.I. Sawyer, Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Yeah. Above base.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I didn't spend much time there because right after I got there, I had my school date to go to Lowry for a 4-month tech school. So, so we did have a place on base.
Yeah.
It was a multiplex. I think it was 3-bedroom. And so she stayed home and kept the home flyers burning as I was diligently working on getting cross-trained.
Right.
Yeah. And then got out of there, worked at our intelligence shop, doing packages for B-52s, which also mission packages for B-52s. So and doing the periodic bag drags to the alert facility.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the life of a cold warrior. Yeah.
What do they call that? Being circumcised?
Being circumcised, yes. But it wasn't much. I didn't have the full moil because I didn't have the full moil treatment from that. Because 2 months after I'm back, this was in 1984, I had orders to Germany. Yeah, I think it was the way they did it is the MageCom had to approve my test score. So I'm thinking that USAFE approved it,
right?
Knowing they were going to get me back,
right?
Rather than, I only stayed at KI just long enough to go to school. Really, I was there about a year.
Wow, that's pretty short.
Yeah. So I ended up at Spangdahlem, Germany. Best 4 years of my Air Force career, bar none. The base, well, you probably know Spangdahlem.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's like a stone's throw away from Bitburg. I think we were even there when Reagan came. Yeah, we were there when Reagan came, and with all that controversy about the cemetery.
Right.
But it was absolutely fantastic. I lived on the economy, a little bitty offset from the landlord. They had the big house. I had this little bitty thing, right? Maybe 2 bedrooms.
Right.
2 bedrooms where the ex and I lived, and because the waiting list for base housing was
half your assignment time.
Yeah. And get this, with 3, let's see, you had on base housing.
Yeah.
You had a housing complex on Trier. You had a housing complex right outside the base, and they still couldn't fit me.
Yeah.
I think they probably were only doing it for kids. So got there. We had F4s. We actually we had a strike mission at first, where I had to do mission packages for them. Some of the people I worked with were okay. Some of them just, I don't know what it is about non-flying Air Force officers. This is and even some flying ones. But so we did that for a bit, and then they started the conversion to mix to F4. There was one squadron with nothing but Wild Weasel, F4Gs.
Right, the Wild Weasel mission, yeah.
So there was one squadron with that. Well, they decided to make the Weasels more potent. They took the E's.
Yep.
Or they split the G models to the 3 squadrons, and then they split the E models to the 3 squadrons. So you would have a flight of 1 F4G with 3 F4Es. The way they planned it. So that was a great assignment. I loved it. I actually got assigned to one of the squadrons, the 480th Warhawks. And we spent 4 years there. Great assignments. I did great. I did Red Flag. I went to Red Flag. Went to the usual weapons training deployments in Zaragoza. And then we Red Flint. And then we did a deployment to Fosberg where we simulated we would have to open up the road to Berlin in case the
Of
Soviets
course.
decided.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to be air support if they were going, so we could
Right.
drive the thing in. And so one of the more interesting things that happened was I was in Zaragoza doing a weapons training deployment, and I found out my grandmother died.
Oh, yeah.
So what I did was flew, got out of there on a civilian flight, got home, made it in time for the funeral because they changed it to made it very quick, so I wasn't happy.
Right.
And so I got home, and while I was there, I stayed there for a little bit, and that was when El Dorado Canyon happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Libya.
Yep. So my unit was stuck in Spain during it. Obviously, they couldn't use weasels across the Mediterranean.
Right.
Trying to get the F4s don't have that range, even with light refueling. So the Navy and the F-111s had that show. But it was interesting, all the after action reports we got after that. It was really interesting. And then let's see, red flag and sightseeing wise, we lived near Trier, so we saw Trier. We saw Berlin. I've been to France, Belgium. Actually saw spent the 24 hours in Le Mans, which I really
awesome.
And we did Belgium, France. Never made it to the UK.
Yeah. Do that Benelux, the Luxembourg.
Oh yeah, I loved visiting Luxembourg. Lux City is gorgeous.
Yep.
It's actually a beautiful city. And it was just it was so good an assignment. I stayed an extra year.
Yeah.
And I was actually trying to maybe become an instructor and thinking I was going to go to Lowry. But around that time, they decided to change it to Goodfellow.
Yeah. San Angelo.
Yeah. So
at
that point, I was thinking of maybe doing the old homesteading in Germany, but the ex said, let's go.
Right.
So we ended up in Blytheville, Acre Air Force Base, Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah. The Moyo got me.
Yeah.
The Moyo got me on that one. So, yeah, I tried everything. I tried to go to George.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to go to Arkansas.
Right.
And Acre Air Force Base is where sack pukes go to die. Because you got all the retirees. You got, I had a lousy boss.
Oh.
And even lousier NCOs.
Right.
And when my boss was telling me the tales of woes of everybody in the unit, and it was a buff base.
Yes. Now
the highlight of being on a buff base is there was a SAC rate that said that Intel people so that Intel people know what they're talking about in flying, in planning and stuff. They're allowed to get flights on B-52s.
Yeah.
So both at KI and at Blytheville, I had my share of B-52 flights, which is fun.
I have a B-52 connection too. We'll talk about later.
Okay. I thought about at that point saying, I want to be a gunner. I
Yeah.
want to be a gunner.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is, okay, I'm a gunner. That means I got to pull alert.
Yeah.
I want to do that. So I didn't do that. I actually tried to go into space ops, but I guess after one cross training job, no, they weren't going to get me. So after I heard all the tales of woe and stuff like this, I still had about 2 years left on my time. I did a 6-year enlistment once I got into Intel to get the re-enlistment bonus.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm done. I'm done. I had a connection where I can go into the Air National Guard, and I said, I'll do my term, and then I'll go into the Guard. And at that time, I was actually, I think in the last 6 months, I actually took my test for E7. I didn't study. I just pencil whipped it, didn't make it. And because I knew I was getting out. In a way, I wish I would have, but going into the Guard, I probably would have ended up a staff sergeant anyway, because the National Guard is so, you got to be a full-time to get the high ranks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have much choice. Got out of active duty in 90. June of 90. And then we all know what happened. We all know what happened in August, and that was my first drill weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The invasion was my first drill weekend. Everybody was just, my IN was wearing desert uniform.
Oh boy.
Are we going anywhere? Come on, let me go. But, we had A7s, and they decided the Navy's A7s are a better fit than dragging a Guard unit from Ohio to the sandbox.
Right.
So I contended with 2-hour commutes to get to the Guard base to drill. We didn't go. In fact, we were in Tucson when the storm blew.
Yep. Yeah.
And
that was a A7 unit before they got A10s.
No, it was an A7 unit, and then they became tankers.
A DM?
No. Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, in Ohio we had A7.
Oh yeah, Ohio, yeah.
Yeah, we were at Rickenbach. So we had
135.
A7s, and they were converting to tankers.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get a slot.
Right.
And they were applying, they were doing applications for boomers and other, NAVs and stuff like that to fill the tanker slots. I thought about it, but I hurt my back in Arkansas, and I'm wondering, could I with a 10% disability pass a flight physical?
Yeah.
And so I didn't do that. So, and so we were in Tucson when Desert Storm happened. So we were watching that. One of the Guard air crews, he said, my wife's over there and I'm stuck here,
right.
And so the pilots were kind of bummed.
Yeah.
Me, I was kind of ambivalent at the time.
Right.
So, hello, Agent Pepsi 1. How are you? So
she's my favorite agent.
Agent Pepsi 1. Yeah, I'll sing her song over the weekend. But we, okay. So we went through that, and then I started looking for another, another job because I still have 8 years before I can get enough point before my 20 is up.
Right.
I'm still earning points.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to Toledo, which was just converting to F-16s and was an hour and a half away from where I live.
Yeah.
So what happened was, here I am, fully qualified in F-16, working F-16 intelligence. I go up there and I go through a dog and pony show interview,
Right.
only to find out they hired somebody from Wright Pat who was a photo interpreter.
Oh.
So that was my first experience with the Air National Guard, good old boy network.
Right.
So I went to the Guard recruiter in Toledo, and the only thing, because of my back, I wanted to be a crew chief.
Yeah.
The only thing they had was maintenance training. So I said, well, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I went to Toledo, 90 minutes away. Got busted to staff sergeant.
Yeah.
But because I was a staff sergeant slack. But somehow my NCOIC was able to pull strings and got me back my tech sergeant. But that would be the last grade I saw, because
Right.
I tried for sergeant. I didn't want to apply for a full-time job, even though I knew that they would have the plum positions.
Right.
But they would get the rank. And then there was 20-year deserving airmen with the catch, you got to do 2 more years. And by that time I was like, I did some good things. We did logistics build up where we built drop tanks for F-16s, which we really did really well. And I got a commendation medal out of that. But then there was stuff like being a shelter monitor.
Right.
And then the final ignominy was I was slated to do what they call PAMS Cop, which is an SP augmentee.
Right.
So I'd be sitting on the flight line while the real SPs were playing out in the field.
I think they call them Augie Doggies.
Augie Doggies, yes. So the first exercise I was doing that, the guy in charge of the Augie Doggies didn't want to waste time pulling M16s out of the armory.
Oh no, yeah.
So here I am in full mop gear on the flight line, F-16s roaring all over the place, holding a stick, playing entry controller. I'm like, no, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I then, at that point, said I'm going to be retiring in December.
Yeah.
So right now, right now, night, Wendy. You take care. Catch us on the flip side. I know Cal's is going to be much more exciting. I'm an old Cold War. But the good thing is it hit age 16, got my retirement. That's an old Cold Warrior story.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Those first assignments were interesting.
Huh?
Those first assignments, like Italy, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I would have been. I don't know. No, I would not want to stay in Italy because, the job, the job stunk. Germany, absolutely great.
Yeah.
We actually, there was an exercise, and this is a very sore subject. There was an exercise that had Air Force attention. They were putting all sorts of neat stuff into the base. They were building new shelters. They were, building new shelters. They were testing out new gas masks and stuff.
Right.
It's called Salty Demo.
Oh.
And everybody was, we had barcode. We had barcodes at first to track people coming in and out. I worked night shift, so we worked at the squadron, and did the thing. Air Force thought we did great. Yeah, woohoo! People were getting awards left and right for just shining, just opening doors at the shelter and stuff like that.
Right.
So people were getting these award, decorations and stuff like that. And then the wing commander decides he wants to push for an Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. So he nixed any more individual decorations.
Mm. Yeah. Except for his.
Yes, except for his. And the bad thing, which made me want to walk out of every commander's call, that somebody got an award.
Right.
Somebody got an achievement medal. This person got an achievement medal. This person got this. I went through my tech sergeant test. First time test. My result came back, and I remember this distinctly.
Good.
My result was I was non-selected by 0.01.
Oh.
0.01. And then my IN has the nerve to ask me, what would an achievement medal?
Oh.
And I'm like, I gritted my teeth, I balled my fist, and I said, sir, I would have gotten it.
Yeah.
I was the number one non-selected.
Oh.
I got it for next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so. Ever since then, I hear those two words, "salty demo." My hackles raise. Even now, when I go to the old Facebook page,
right,
and I see that, I just want to. But yeah, it was a great career. Great career.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have done things different, but hindsight is 20/20.
All right.
And without going the way I did, I wouldn't have met this lovely lady over here.
Oh yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
Well, I grew up in Houston and loved cars and mechanical things. And matter of fact, in 1980, I bought this car. Not a car like this car.
You had that since 80?
No. So I learned to work on cars and on this car right here, and was real mechanically inclined. And I worked for Showbiz Pizza Place. You remember Showbiz? They had the electronic animals and all the arcade games.
You mean before Chuck E. Cheese started?
Yeah, well, Chuck E. Cheese bought them out eventually. So, but that got me to San Angelo. And while I was in San Angelo, I'd sold the car to my best friend in 1984. And then 85, I went to San Angelo and I was working in a showbiz there, and I met a band at the local Chelsea Street pub. And I would see the band all the time because they were within walking distance of my apartment. So I could get drunk as a skunk, just walk across the parking lot, go home. It was awesome. And I'm 21 years old at this time. So we got along. The band got along really well, and one time they said, "Hey, our hotel has fallen through. We don't have any place to stay. We're going to stay in the van." And I'm like, "Shh, pile into my place." So I had a rock band living with me for a little bit, and they went off, and then they came back and they said, "Hey, Kelly, we really like you. You know how to work on electronics. We're looking for someone to take care of the guitars, the lighting, all those other things. It has to not be on stage. Are you interested in a job?" And I'm like, "Yep." And I quit and then went on the road with them. So for the next 3 years, I was a sound engineer for those guys. And like bands do, they break up and then reform and break up and reform. And each time I had nothing. I was hardly making any money, and I turned 24 and I was like, man, I have got to do something. And I went into the Army recruiter and I said, yeah, I'm interested in aviation, helicopters. And the guy's like, oh, we don't have anything for helicopters, but guns, big guns, artillery. That's what you want. I was like, no. And I walked out and walked right into the Air Force recruiter and then went in delayed enlistment. I signed up, I think in October or November of 87. And then went delayed enlistment and then went active November 2nd and then went to Lackland and then from Lackland to Kirtland Air Force Base. And I was became a helicopter mechanic, fuel systems specialist. So I worked on the H1s, the H3s, 53s, and 60s, and then the HC-130s, the P models and the N models, so the air rescue guys and the special op guys. Then I got orders to Rhine-Main, Germany.
Ooh.
And with the Talon ones that were there. But then the Talons went to England, and they said, well, if you want, you can go to England, but there's a quarantine for pets. So for like 6 months, you have to board your pet, and it's out of your pocket. And I was like, oh, we just got to Germany, and we kind of wanted to see Europe, So, so we just stayed there at Rhine-Main for 3 years, and I was senior airman at that time. I got below the zone, senior airman below the zone. So I was senior airman during that time, and then my last time to test, I didn't make staff. Then I got picked up for cross training for flight engineer, and we got shipped back to the States. The problem was the cutoffs were crazy for flight engineers. And my first 2-time testing, if I'd have been maxed out on points and scored hundreds on both my tests, I couldn't have made it. It was that crazy. So I stayed a senior airman for a long time. And when I made staff, my line number was 00059.
Ooh, so first run.
Yeah. So I immediately put it on. And then became a flight engineer, and 3 years, that was in 94, I became a flight engineer. And then 3 years later, became an instructor, flight engineer. And then 3 years after that, became an evaluator flight engineer. And,
on what airplane?
C-130s.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then here's, you've had to talk around a couple of things today, so I'm going to have to talk around a couple of things today. I got a special duty assignment. Have you ever heard of a green door assignment? So it's one that you fall off the records for a little while. You disappear. And so I was at Edwards Air Force Base. So I lived at Edwards Air Force Base, and then I would commute to the Skunk Works and then to the other bases in the area there, Palmdale. So other bases down there. So I did that for 4 years. And then it was time for my next assignment. And I asked my wife, well, where do you want to go? Because it's probably my last assignment. And I didn't tell you, I moved from Rhine-Main to Dyess Air Force Base, Texas, Abilene. So, and then from Abilene and
they had helos there, or one?
No, C-130s.
No, they had 130. No, they had 130s along with the B1s.
And B1s, yeah, which will come into play again. So, backtracking again, while I was in survival school, it was June of 95. And we were in resistance training academics, RT academics. and the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life just all of a sudden happened. Ceiling tiles fell just like dust and dirt and lights and stuff like that. And then someone said, everybody out of the building. And we all ran out of the building. And I looked over my shoulder and there was a huge mushroom fireball raising up in the air. It was that B-52 ZAR 52.
That one that idiot the idiot that decided he wanted to be a Thunderbird.
Yeah, Colonel Holland. Yep. Yeah, so that crash. And then when I was in the field, we got a message that somebody went crazy on base and shot the psychiatrist that called him crazy. And then he got gunned down by a bicycle cop, all in the same week. So survival school was a real survival school for me.
Oh my.
So then we left in 2000, went to Edwards from 2000 to 2004, and then came back to Dias. And then eventually I took over one of the squadrons as the NCOIC of it for a while. And then I went to Group Standoval from there, and then retired in 2012. And during those times I hit Panama in 89. I was at Kirtland during the first Gulf War. Mm-hmm. And then we did Germany. We operated out of Simbach and did Kosovo, Tuzla, Tazar, Vincenza, Aviano, Skopje, all that Mediterranean area.
Yeah.
Flew out of there. And then the second Gulf War, I came back in 2004. So 2005, I deployed 2005, 2006, 2008, 2009, and 2010. So all those times. And the last time I was the senior NCO flight engineer for Kuwait for that theater. And that was pretty cool. Ended up with 4,998 hours.
Nice.
Flying. Yeah. And my 400th mission in Iraq, literally 400, was my last combat mission. It's the last time I flew in there. So I did exactly 400 combat missions. So MVG qual.
Were you was it just a regular C-130 or did you do the gunships?
No, when I was at Edwards, we flew just about everything. So we were qualified on everything, which people were like, oh man, you must be awesome. And it's actually the opposite. You're like, what the hell kind of plane is this? You know, and you got to get the manual out and go, all right, this is an H2. The line the INS, you got to do this. And so you became very mediocre at 10 different types of airplanes. So I flew a lot of different types of C-130s, but I didn't fly them operationally. We would test an autopilot or test a new antenna or new radio system or something like that. My main airframe was EC C-130s, the EC combat
Compass Call,
Commando Solo. Yeah, those guys. So the Payne, Pennsylvania Air National Guard had their EC-130Es, and then Davis Monthan and all the Compass Call aircraft out there. The Block 30s and higher. So we would fly there, pick up an airplane, bring it back to Palmdale, do some experiment on it, and give it back. So, yeah, we had our own airframe, and that thing was, oh my gosh, it was so modified. It had all kind of stuff on it. So, yeah, it was pretty neat. We would take like group photos, and everybody would get their group photo, and then our security people would come back and confiscate all the photos because they said if you know who is in these photos, you can figure out what we were doing. So like this guy does this guy does that, this guy does that, so we know what kind of mission they were flying on.
Yeah,
they would confiscate them all up. So I got a couple, just general group photos. So that's my story. I got out in 2012, and believe it or not, I opened a restaurant with a buddy. So
nice.
Yeah, we ran a restaurant for 6 years, and then I worked on my master's degree, which I finished through Embry-Riddle, aeronautical science, with an emphasis on flight operations. So, and then a position opened up at Dias for someone to work B-1 bomber flight operations.
Nice.
So now I am the site lead for Dias Air Force Base. I got a team that does all the scheduling and ground training, flight training, and stand eval, which is what I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
flight time then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
I got a combat action medal in 2009. Flying in Iraq, we got into a kill box and took a lot of yanking and banking to get out of it, but we got out of it unscathed, which I would have put money down that we had bullet holes all over that airplane and not
Is
a
this the
scratch.
B1?
So, no, C-130.
Oh, C-130.
Yeah, we flew a lot of missions on C-130s, and one of them we briefly talked about was the repatriation
Yeah.
of soldiers. So we went to Crete to pick up an Army fellow who was extremely well liked in his unit. He was a master sergeant, and evidently he was a very good one. And they got hit. Their Humvee got hit, and the people that were his casket bearers were people that were in that Humvee. Well, this had not happened too long ago, so they were still very injured, and they didn't care. One guy had part of his ear blown off. All of them had ruptures in their sinuses, and their eyes were bloodshot, like blood vessels from the overpressure. They had bandages on their arms, and when we stopped the aircraft and then got everything settled, opened the ramp and door, I looked out and there was soldiers lined on both sides all the way out the back of the aircraft. And then an ambulance came up, and those soldiers, those 6 soldiers, picked up the casket from the back and they carried it on, very dignified. And then we had our own ceremony too for them, with a slow salute as they entered the aircraft, and then a flag placed over the coffin. And each of those soldiers, I mean, they were crying, and these are tough guys, man. Really, these are the snake eaters, and they were thanking us for bringing their friend back home, and that just hit us so hard. We would try very, very, very hard to go do that mission. Now, we never wanted to do that mission, but if we had to do it, we were going to do it right. We were going to do it with dignity, and we were going to try to get that person back home best we could. So we would push pretty hard for that. We would bring them to Kuwait City, and then from Kuwait they would get transferred to Landstuhl, and then Landstuhl to Dover, Delaware. So it struck me so hard that those guys were thanking us for taking care of their buddy and getting them out of Iraq. So it was really tough to deal with. Yeah. But we did that more times than I want to mention. There would be a mass casualty day where, something really bad happened, and we would have 8 to 10 of these caskets on the aircraft trying to get them back. So we never got used to it. It didn't. I've heard other people say they get used to that and never did. So each time was a special day. So.
Well, I mean, you're doing a solemn duty for the deceased and his family.
Yep. Yeah.
And Sandra says you shouldn't get used to it. True.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. But I can tell you that we really cared. So here's a good story. I got a couple of good stories. One time at Baghdad International Airport, they call it BIAP. I was doing my takeoff and landing data, my toll data, getting it all prepped, and the airplane kind of shook. And I was like, oh, they ran the K loader into the back of the plane. I was like, oh, crap. And then I heard a big boom. Like, that's odd. And I turned and I looked, and then I see another big flash, a little mushroom cloud that was next to another one. And then I hear boom, and I'm like, are they blowing something up? And then another mortar hits closer to my airplane.
Oh, no.
they're shooting at us. So I
Oh,
unasked
no.
the airplane, turned off the APU, and ran and got into one of these bunkers. And then I heard another couple.
Hopefully with the rest of the crew.
The crew were all in mission planning and talking to Intel for the next leg.
Oh, so you were working on your
just
pre-flight.
keeping the airplane, getting it ready for the next leg. And there was an Army guy in the pillbox. It was nothing more than concrete barriers, but he goes, MOS. And I was like, oh, and everybody's going, 11 Bravo Charlie, MOS, MOS, MOS. And he looks at me and goes, MOS. And I'm like, dude, I'm the flight engineer on the airplane. And he goes, useless. and my first thought was, yeah, I bet you think that when it's time to get out of here.
Oh, so they were wanting to anybody that can take a gun.
Well, they wanted to know who they had in there. If they had, shooters, or if they had medical people, whatever. The guy, that's a normal thing for them to do, to check the resources they got in there in case something else happens. So,
and they called
we got attacked by a dog one time, taxiing from one runway to another. This dog hated us. This dog was running and barking and just, and I told the loadmaster, he had the door open. He was looking. I said, if you see anything strapped to that dog, you got to shoot it. You got to shoot it. Cause that was one of their tricks, was to wire up an animal and then of course, knowing Americans would like, oh, poor puppy, go feed it. And then blow up a Claymore. Yeah. So yeah, I got attacked. We call the Baghdad dog. Yeah. So, oh yeah. Lots of crazy stuff.
One of the worst jobs I had was I had to be a triage dummy.
Oh,
during an exercise.
Oh boy.
It was fun to the first time when they put gore on me. But
right. Yeah.
After the third wound, they said, no, you're going back to the facility. You're going back to the medical facility. You are dead. I wasn't dead the first time.
You got to recycle.
Yeah.
Respawn. Okay, I got another one. The USO brought all kind of people over, so I got to meet like Drew Carey and all these people. So I showed up from the mission, and they said, "Hey, man, you got the actors from the Sons of Anarchy."
Oh,
cool, yeah. So we got to meet them. Nicest people in the world. They were great. I love those guys. If I ever met them again, it'd be awesome. They were super. And so we take off and we go to a couple places, and then we end up in Balad, Iraq. And whenever you see another C-130, and I saw one that I recognized, the flight engineers go talk to each other. What's your plane doing? Is it leaking here? We know all the aircraft. We know their little weirdnesses, and if they've seen anything, at another base, to let us know. So these guys come off this other airplane, all long hair and everything like that. And then my guys come off, and they got all this long hair. And then I meet the flight engineer. His name was Bill. And Bill says, "Hey, man, what rock band do you got? I got Bad Company on my airplane." And I was like, "No, I got the Sons of Anarchy on my plane." He says, "Well, Bad Company's pissed off that there's another heavy metal band in theater, and they want to know who you are." It's like, "Yeah, these are the actors." So we all met in the middle. And then when they figured out that they were two different groups, they all were like, "Hey, man, we love you." Oh yeah, they were giving it hugs. So I'm sitting there in the middle of Iraq going, like, this is a very odd thing.
Very surreal.
Very surreal. Yeah.
Very surreal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I've been mortared, been shot at in Mosul. I can tell you exactly what machine gun fire right next to you sounds like. I know up front and personal. So yeah, it was a very good career, very exciting career. Got to do a lot. Got step promoted to master sergeant, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
So because of that delay as a senior airman, that kind of put my career a little bit behind. And then when I would have naturally been a master sergeant, it was recognized, and he decided to step promote me. So that was pretty neat.
I made when I was in Italy, I made staff the first time, which for com was hard, because you've got a lot of comm slots.
Right.
The Intel one, there's fewer, but less said about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish I could have made master, but oh well.
Yeah. I got to tell you, after you retire, best years of your life spent, you still got to go get a job because retirement's not enough to live on.
You got that right.
Still working. So
my retirement's helping to play. My retirement right now is helping to pay for my monstrous flight training student loan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could have easily got my pilot's license, and what happened was a lot of my pilot friends had their own airplanes, so we'd say, "Hey, let's go flying." All right, we go fly, and I didn't need a pilot's license, so I just used their airplane. No big deal. So of course I was always flying with them. Never bothered.
Let's go check into some of the chat comments in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Was that car a heavy armed recreational vehicle? No. It was actually a Renault Fuego.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love that car.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I love my car.
I had an Opel Record and a BMW 525.
I started out with my dad's pickup truck, but when I had to go to Italy, then I put a brand new engine in. And actually, they told me that the cylinder was deformed, so it was going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
So, it just took -30 below zero to do it. But so I had to give that back to him when I went to Italy. So I got a used Fiat,
right,
for Italy, because I figured, maintenance in Italy for a Fiat would be okay. No. So we got the Fuego, and we had that most of the way through Germany, and then the transmission went and got a VW.
Right.
So, and then didn't get any more new cars until I became a single person the first time. But let's see. Agent Pepsi one says, "Hail Trike." Oh, forgot about me. Hey. Trike's filled on treats. He's in a food coma. Yeah, he's in a food coma. Right behind me. Agent Pepsi one says she was 6 when Desert Storm happened.
Wow. She's just a young girl, Agent Pepsi one.
A young Agent Pepsi one. Let's see. Dan said, "We just gotten back from Germany. We were in El Paso for a week when the ex came home and said he was deploying with the 101st. So three young kids, dog, and I were home. We're alone in Texas."
That's tough.
They also serve who wait at home.
Yeah.
I love the NCOIC I had at Afghanistan. He was an old E7 that had been in like 22 years. The Lieutenant Brown was his name. He was nice, but so unhelpful. Oh, yeah. Oh, and when the irritating thing is when the junior lieutenants think they know more.
I tell you, our lieutenants and captains were fantastic, and female pilots just as good as male pilots. There was no issue at all. By the time they got to that position, there was no gimmies. You couldn't cover it up. They had to perform. So,
I was still
with them anytime.
I was still during the time when it was still the restriction. And when I went into maintenance training, there was one female pilot, but I didn't know her because you know, air crews and maintenance, don't often fraternize.
Right. Right.
I do gotta say, one of the things I enjoyed in Germany was being like on the front end of helping with converting, um, bringing in the F-16s to help the Weasels.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. That's where I got
Yeah.
my F-16 Intel experience. That was
Oh yeah.
yeah. So,
Never got to ride in one. Always wanted to.
oh, I've been in. Let's see. I've been in buffs. I've been in
Yeah.
a 130. No, one. Well, obviously 130s and
130s.
because they had to take me. But I was in a KC 135.
Mm-hmm.
I was in several buffs. In fact, there was one. I have a story. We were doing a daylight flight, and we did our run. Nice 12-hour mission.
Short mission.
To nowhere, North Dakota. To nowhere, North Dakota.
Right.
Come back. They're gonna do touch and go. So what they do is they drop everybody off, so that just the pilot and the co-pilot go. Well, we come back, and so they can't use the drag chute on touch and go.
Right.
So he lands, and the pilot is on the brake. And I'm just, well, yeah, I was in the defensive instructor. So I was on the upper floor behind the defensive people. And I'm coming down, just dawdling, and the gunner says, "Get out of the airplane." I am. Now! So we get out. Fire trucks are all over the airplane. They had a hot break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had a hot break, so they had to do all that. And then since then, anytime I wanted a flight, they said, "You are not going in a daylight flight. You're doing nothing but nights." Which is fine. No. But I've been in B-52s. I've been in a KC 135. I've been in the backseat of an F4. Been in the backseat of an A7. I didn't make a 16. I didn't make a 16 because at the time, the airplane had to get the engine replaced. So, yeah. So, let's see. Agent Pepsi One says, "I hate mop suits. Actually, the suit is fine. The gas mask is what makes it very uncomfortable. Tankers have great masks. They have cold air blown on them when connected in the vehicles."
Yeah.
We had the single face shield. For a while we had in Italy we had the big ugly black ones. But then everywhere else we had the clear face shields with the little canister here.
Yep. We had those, of course, and then we had air crew. They're called ERPS gear, if I remember right. Air crew ensemble. And it was made so you could move around a little bit better, and it was a little more portable. And you could hook up to aircraft oxygen, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. SP4H got it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, we'll talk about the Mustang at the end of the video here.
All right. And she says, "Hail Texas, Texas roll."
Yeah, roger that.
The Army recruit didn't have anything in aviation. They immediately got you in, or got her in.
No, they wanted to make me artillery guy. No, thank you.
Rhein-Main, unfortunately, got, like a lot of places in Germany, closed. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember let's see, I've been to Zweibrücken, I've been to Hahn, Bitburg more times than I know. And now
Raymond, my first assignment was actually to Zweibrücken to work on the Sherpas.
Oh, okay.
Remember those?
Oh, those were cool. I loved looking at those Sherpas. They were pretty cool planes.
And they closed the base before I could get there.
Oh,
so
man.
They diverted me to Rhein-Main.
Oh, okay.
C-23 Sherpa.
Yeah. those were cool airplanes when they came in to drop off parts.
Short brothers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. And then, okay. And then green door assignment. I had an under fuselage assignment once. I was so tired. I ended up snoozing under an Apache in Afghanistan. The first sergeant wasn't too happy with me. Yeah.
I've slept in the Herky Hilton more than once with a machine gun by my side.
Yeah. I knew somebody talking about green door assignments. He left Spain in '86. Got stationed in Nellis. He was stationed in Nellis, but not working in Nellis, if you know what I mean. Well,
yep, I know exactly. North.
Well,
Nellis.
Mm-hmm. No, I imagine now that it's out in the open, he was probably working on the 117s.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tuna Paw guys.
Yeah, we kept asking him, "What do you do? Where are you going?" He said, "I can't tell you. What are you doing? What are you doing?" Hey, we got clearance.
Dude, I still got it. I got a stack of non-disclosures that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah. That are still effective, huh?
Yeah.
But it's funny. Where I was at, everybody on the base knew. Everybody in the Italian population knew. But we weren't supposed to say anything. And then I look about 10 years ago and I see an entire paper about my base. Boy. That is some secret.
Aviation and Space Weekly would do articles on what we were up to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, great.
The Army built a giant new hospital complex in Weilerbad, about 10 miles outside of Landstuhl. The Landstuhl hospitals were closing down as they are ancient. Actually, when on my last 2 week annual training, we went to Germany. I wanted to go back to Spangdahlem so bad.
Yeah.
But we had to go to Ramstein.
Right.
And we actually stayed up where the Landstuhl Hospital was.
Uh-huh.
And nice facility. I mean, nice hotel. Hotel. Single rooms. Only bad thing is no internet. The internet in Europe sucked.
I stayed at Simbach for a while. I took off out of Ramstein one time, and the weather was just terrible. It was minimums for takeoff. We flew to Sarajevo, did 3 missed approaches, and came back and never saw the ground once.
Oh.
It was nothing but just soup the whole time. And we landed Minsk. So maybe just a little bit below Minsk, but we don't talk about that. There was no divert field.
Gotta love European weather.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you're in the ground engagement, nothing beats 19C. Nothing beats 19C or an 11B.
11 Bravo.
The 18 series MOS are evil too.
Yeah. Well, we took many of those guys in and out. I probably took Chris Con Survivor in and out. So we definitely took the Punishers in and out. So.
Snorta Poopa says, I'm in the rare and highly secret MOS whoosh. Stormtrooper Cook Sniper. Cool. I bet you got a lot of pelts. Hey, Trike. Agent says, my retirement is happening the instant my husband retires. Then I will become a rancher's wife, more importantly, a housewife.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful. Peace.
Yes. Let's see. Phantom Outsider says, Oddly, after King Dolphin, oddly after King Dolphin TV said he became a single person, nothing flew at his head. Great self control by Sam. I told you that. Everybody's got to check out number. After the first one, the second one is going to be the one, the only.
I got a quick story for Agent Pepsi One. So we had a special forces team on the aircraft, and we had their equipment on, and we were unloading it. And the loadmaster was at the back of the plane, and he asked me if I could come up to the front of the airplane and undo the locks because of the dual rails lock all the pallets into place. Mm-hmm. So I came down the aircrew stairs to the lower level, and when I did, my 9mm fell out of my vest right into the floor, tumbled right in front of a special forces guy. With the armed, ready to shoot. And I looked at him and was like, that had to happen in front of you. It couldn't happen anywhere else. It had to happen in front of you. And he goes, and he picks it up and he goes, if I had $1 for every time I dropped my weapon, I'd be a millionaire. And that's why we have these. And he pulls up a lanyard, and his gun is actually tied to a lanyard to his belt.
Oh, nice. Let's see. Sanders says, long before we met. Yes, long. Oh, yes, the monkey two-piece.
Yeah.
That exercise that actually the first deployment of those masks was at the exercise that still gives me utter rage. That was the first time they brought those masks into the field. I had a ride in the front seat of an AH-64. Tasha, the AH-64 gunner. Nappy or flying is terrifying. Whoa.
Yeah. And some of those helicopter pilots, like I've moved the 160th SOAR around. Those guys are phenomenal. They're total professional wackadoodles. Crazy skills.
Oh boy. I couldn't sign up. Phantom Outsider says I couldn't sign up and they can't even draft me due to medical. Born with one kidney. They won't take you.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
wow.
Well, thank you for your service, SP4H. Air Force graduated to the M50 gas mask by the time I got it. Okay, I don't think I had that. I think we still have.
SP4H, I don't think I ever knew that you were in the Air Force. That's news to me. You're very humble about it.
Yeah. I think we had, even in the Guard, we had the Clear Shield, the Monkey Twos.
I haven't heard that term in a long time.
Yeah. And Pepsi One says, I told off this weird bimbo on McAllister's Deli who was in line ahead of me. She claimed to be in Special Forces. I called her a liar. No women in 18th series MOS.
Yeah, it's true.
Even now, Agent Pepsi One?
I know there was some work with the Rangers, but I don't know how that turned out.
Now, you were in SOCOM the whole time, right?
Me? No.
SOCAF, or Air Force Special.
USAFE. And then when I was at Kirtland, that was a Combat Crew Training Wing, CCTW.
So was Air Education.
AETC. Yeah.
Yeah, AETC.
Yeah. And then from there was Mother Mac, and then AMC. So,
you went, okay.
Yeah, Mother Mac at the very beginning.
Okay, so you went to MAC. Okay. Or AMC.
Yeah, Military Airlift Command.
Yeah.
And at one time we were part of Air Combat Command. So,
okay.
Just for a very short period of time.
Yeah. When I was in the Guard, let's see. I was in ADC, Aerospace Defense Command.
Yeah.
And then
ADC, man, that's way back. Wow.
hey, I'm old. I was actually there when they were winding it down.
Yeah.
So in com, I was, because I was part of the NORAD region, I was part of ADC. Then
Right.
when they shut down ADC, they moved the scope people to TAC, and us com people, we went to Air Force Communications Command,
Right.
AFCC. And then I stayed there to like cross train, and then went to SAC and then to SAC SAC you say. So yeah. Let's see. Down outside it says, yeah, one kidney is a somewhat where genetic defect. I have it. One of my brothers is the same. Found out as I was born with a hernia when they took X-rays, one larger than the normal kidney instead of two. Wow.
Huh.
And the Phantom Boomer explores. I didn't get to do what the Air Force trained me to till I transferred to the Guard.
Yeah.
Women Rangers are stupid.
Phantom and I were both based at Edwards Air Force Base, completely different times, but we were both there. Oddly enough, the place is the same.
Women Rangers are stupid. They lowered the physical requirements for them lower than that of basic training for 18 to 21 male recruits. It's a farce to virtue signal the rainbow people. Yeah.
Yeah. Agent Pepsi one's right.
Yep.
I don't want to be mean or anything, but
Rangers are the best of the best. Standards should never be lowered. Agreed, Sandra. Agreed. Much older than Herc. Not as old as me, pal.
he keeps going. Oh yeah, I think he's got you beat too.
Oh.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yep.
When did you go into basic?
Yeah, Phantom. When did you go into basic? I think it was early 70s.
Oh,
he'll have to answer that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was tough working with a lot of the Vietnam. Just coming in when I did, talking with a lot of the Vietnam veterans. It was tough. In fact, one of the NCOs in Germany, he was at Pleiku, and he had cysts all over his body that he is pretty sure came from the Agent Orange, but I don't know if he ever. I don't know if he ever. I don't know if he ever. If he's still alive.
Right. Boomer said he was
just missed Vietnam. Okay.
January of 73.
Yeah. Just missed Vietnam. Nixon canceled the draft while I was in basic. Okay. I was only 6 in January 73. I was a bitty phantom then. I was 12. I was 12 in 73. Agent Pepsi won. Not only Agent Pepsi won. Shame on you. I'm telling you. Oh, not only the best, they're also in peak condition and they're really hot, General. I was in training just before the Trojan War. I can imagine that. 1925, 1925th Communications Choir. Okay. All I remember was I was in OLE's 21 something communications group in Italy.
It's funny how you don't remember that. Like a lot of my deployed squadrons, it was just a patch that we threw on our arm. I don't remember what they are.
Yeah. We didn't even have patch. I became a patch collector when I went to Germany. Let's see. Yeah, and really they got rid of the B-52 gunners.
Right. A lot of them became flight engineers. I have a few very good friends that were gunners.
Did they ever explain why? I heard the story about the HARM missile, the urban legend during Desert Storm about the HARM missile almost shooting down a B-52 because it tracked on the gunner's radar. I don't believe it.
I just think technology took it over. The defense systems that they put in there were better, and they were trying to save money, and doing away with the crew position like that saved a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So some went to. I don't think a lot of them went to boomers.
So no, a couple did, but yeah, a lot of them became flight engineers.
Mm.
I have two friends to this day that started off in B-52s.
Wow.
The B-1 is so expensive to fly that there are no more incentive rides. Every single time that plane takes off, they're doing exactly what they have to do to get their training complete to the max amount possible. There's no frivolous flying. With the Hurt, they would say, grab a student or two, go out for a week. Stop at bases that had C-130 maintenance. Other than that, call TACC, tanker control, and pick up missions wherever. And that's how we got a lot of experience. We just fly, whatever we were needed.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree, Agent Pepsi, and especially since the harm, you don't even have to emit with the harm because the harm remembers where the SAM is. Unlike the Shrike, where if you turn it off, the missile goes dumb.
Yeah.
So,
Agent Pepsi 1's got secrets. She knows things.
She does, and she's got a theme song now.
Yeah.
Let's see. But okay, come on, guys, put some stuff out there. We got about 15 minutes before show notes. I do know things, yes. They've given her a number and taken away her.
Talk about the car for a second.
Huh?
So I bought this car in 1980, and I sold it to my friend Wayne in 1984. Now, Wayne drove it for 2 years and then started kind of doing some restoration work on it that he wanted to do. I think he was going to drag race it for a little while. And then life caught up to him like it catches up to all of us, and he put it in storage. Well, last year, I started looking for a project, and I wanted a 66 Mustang fastback. Evidently, everybody else wants a 66 Mustang fastback because the prices of them were stupid. Basket cases were $18,000. So put feelers out to all my gearhead friends, and Wayne bounced back saying, hey, Kelly, I still got your Mach 1 from high school. I was like, you're kidding me. And he goes, no, I got it. He goes, I'll sell it to you. And I was like, oh, man. So we started talking, and he said, I'll sell you the engine that should go in it, if you give me the engine that's in it right now. because it's got a cam and pistons and stuff like that, and they really want. And I'll sell you everything I got to go with it for $4,000. So me and my buddy John rented a truck and a trailer and drove down to Houston and picked it up. And my videos, my Mach 1 for life, my videos are about going down there and getting the car, bringing it back, and then starting the restoration process on it. Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's my channel. So episode 6 is coming out soon. It talks about building this garage, my shop, especially for it, and then getting the car in there. And it's not going to look like this much longer. It's about to get torn apart. Doors, fenders, hood, trunk lid, everything's coming off and everything's getting worked over. So body work. I got to finish some welding on the inside. It's got new floor pans in it. I got to button that up. And then all new suspension is going in, new leaf springs. And then I got the engine somewhere around here. That's going to be expensive. There's no way out of that one for under $3,000. Yeah, but I'll get it on the road. It's going to be red with black interior, black stripe. Yep.
Please subscribe to him. I just did.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
See.
I'm not doing a lot with that channel. The channel is for fun for me and for my friends. I'm not trying to get monetized or make a fortune or do merch or anything like that. So,
my father-in-law has two. One in 1971 and a 1972.
Little inside secret. The 71s were the only Boss 351s made. So 1 year. So if there's Boss 429s, Boss 302s, they were 69, 70. But 71 had the only Boss 351. So, yep, you're spot on. Agent Pepsi 1. Very cool.
I didn't get. I wanted a Camaro, but every time I mentioned that word, Sandra bops me. So it was a surprise. So it was a surprise to both of us that I ended up with a Charger
on my birthday.
On her birthday.
Hey, Agent Pepsi 1, please watch episode 4 of my videos. I actually go to a guy, he runs his own museum in Wichita Falls, Texas, and he has like 80 of Boss 302s, Boss 429, Boss 351s, Super Cobra Jet 429s, amazing collection. And I get to interview him and then go through the collection with him. It's a really good episode. It's my one that has the most hits. It's got almost 1,400 hits on it, so it's really cool.
She likes the primer gray. You should clear it. Looks like a psycho car from a 1980s action.
It does. The interior right now is completely gutted. It's got a 1970 Mustang seat, just so I can drive it. But the interior is completely gone. There's nothing in it.
Yeah. I was born and raised in New Jersey. Small kid, but very mean. I was so bad an exorcism was floated. I went to Catholic school and embarrassed a nun in front of the whole school.
Oh, no.
They deserve to be. Messing with me is not a good idea.
That's funny.
I'll tell you, the easiest way not to learn piano is to have a nun teach you.
Oh.
To this day, I can't play piano. After all the ruler slaps on my wrist.
Like the Blues Brothers?
Yeah, exactly. I think it was the 71. She thinks it's the 71 that has a 4-speed. I have been known to slam shift that one. It was fun, but the car can be so high strung.
Yeah. This one's a 4-speed.
Oh. Oh my God, Paul. Paul's range is in Childress. Let's see. I should say the nun was not physically harmed, but after she paddled me for not being a rat, since I didn't know, but said even if I did, I wouldn't say.
Oh,
Ugh. Oh, I've got some horror stories from Catholic school, especially in kindergarten. Oh my god,
I
Catholic
actually
elementary.
like bench seats, like the AMC Pacer, in a licorice dispenser while I'm at it.
Oh boy.
I like
Well,
bench seats. No, that's funny. No, but we are prescribed uppers and downers to fly our missions. With that being said, it's extremely regulated. You're ground tested first. There's something called DNIF, duties not include flying. So
mhm.
you'll be DNIF during that time. You can only have so many. If you abuse it in the littlest way, you can lose everything. You can be court-martialed and kicked out. It was very, very, very controlled. It wasn't a free for all at all. So,
Yeah.
but we did do that. There was days I was up 30 hours. So trying to fly after being awake for 20 something hours, you can't even do
Oh.
basic math. I'm sitting there trying to, add up the fuel load and the gross weight of the aircraft
Mhm.
and the cargo weight, and could like barely do basic math.
Mm.
Many times that happened. A lot at night too.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Oh, I forgot that Agent Pepsi One's a school
A
teacher.
teacher.
Wow.
She's a teacher.
Ninth grade teacher. Oh my God, bless her.
Yes. I had a ninth grader have a temper tantrum in my class today. He kicked one of his shoes from the middle of the classroom to the back wall. I had called security, had him removed. His mom called today and called me all sorts of names, saying it's just like that. Told her in front of the boss, I don't run a nursery school. You get
You
him.
shouldn't have to put up with that for one iota.
Nope.
That's not what you're there for. You're there to
Nope.
teach.
Well, hello, Glenn Davis. He's new. Welcome.
Ooh, Seattle, one of my favorite places.
Oh,
SeaTac.
welcome.
I spent time in
Welcome.
Tacoma at a recording studio there.
Oh, yeah. Welcome, sir. All right.
Ooh, that's a curious comment by Phantom Boomer.
Let's see. We will never know. I don't think she'll say. Let's see. Thank you. God bless our active service members and veterans. Yes. This is why I do this, because because we've all done our part, and to help this great country stay free. Agent Pepsi One, Sandra, you, myself, Wendy, old man, Cat. We everybody who's been here. We've all chosen to go out into the sandbox, work ungodly hours in lonely communication centers.
My total time in the Middle East was 3 years. 3 years of deployments.
Pulling alert in 50 below weather. Yeah.
I flew out of Canada in that.
Yeah.
We were worried about the fuel freezing.
Yeah. It's like Phantom Boomer says, the oath applies for life. Yes. Yes, indeed.
Nicely said.
So this
Says
little bit
Forever had a comment that's interesting. And because of the time, I'm not sure there's a good database for it.
No.
Laurie had a big fire, and a lot of those documents were in that fire. That was in the 70s, and it might have gotten lost in that. That's interesting. I might write that down and see what I can come up with.
Okay.
1951 Luke. All right. And that was a P-51 training base there. They were converting into P-51Hs at that time. Interesting. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Go Army.
Go Navy. Go Air Force. Go Air Force. Yeah. You know, we've done. I'm going to put this up. You know, I'm not really so much into politics here. We got a lot of that out there, but I will say this. The oath does apply for life, and it is a battle against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That needs to be understood by the enemies of this country or the idiots at some universities.
Yeah, you notice that the oath that we took, it doesn't say until you get out of the Air Force or until you retire. Yeah. It doesn't end. It's an open-ended oath. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. So, you know,
exactly.
I'm with you.
Exactly. Proposal for future reference. Service members in the pod deserve the Order of the Bow Rider Medal. Maybe I should have that or Lenrod come up with an appropriate.
Oh, fit for hire.
Yeah.
That guy's amazing.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I'm not going to say what we've got nearby, Agent Pepsi One, but I will say if you ever come to visit West by God, Virginia, we'd be happy to show you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I really like your audience. You guys are great.
They're an amazing pod. I love them, and I love them all. But yeah, it's I enjoy doing this. I think it's public service. We've all done our part long over, a long time ago, and we all love this great country, and I do got to tell a story.
Yeah.
I had an argument with an ex-girlfriend. See, I have a lot of exes. See, I'm glad Sandra decided that I was okay. That I'm okay.
You're
to
okay.
hang around with.
Right.
I think it's because I got her. I know what it is. I got her started in aviation, and it never stopped. So
it's a drug.
That's why she keeps me. That's why she keeps me. But yeah, I had an argument with an ex about Veterans Day, and she came out and said, "You're not a veteran. You never served in combat." Look, I'm a vet. I did 20 years in some of the most god-awful locations. I'm glad they finally gave a Cold War medal.
Yeah.
I'm glad they finally gave a Cold War medal to recognize everybody who had to do things like sit in lonely missile silos, frozen climbs, working ungodly shifts, never knowing when things were going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
last Saturday, I went to visit an old friend. We did a big barbecue, and it was just, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and it was just like the day that we said, "See ya." We picked up right where we left off.
Yeah.
We talked to each other just like no time had passed at all, and I
Mhm.
really enjoy that part of seeing an old friend and picking right back up where you left off.
Yeah, I've only been to one reunion. We went to my fighter squadron had a reunion in at Nellis. The current members of the squadron were doing Red Flag, and they combined with the oldsters, and it was just really great. I was the only enlisted, but just talking to some of the old pilots that were there, was great. Was really great. So, but yeah. So before I get overly emotional, I better get these show notes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
I love that. Okay. It's show notes time. We've got a week from today. I'll be giving a review of the manga Lupin the Third, one of the many issues of Lupin the Third. This coming Saturday, I will be on an away mission. We'll be at the Legion for something. We'll be at the American Legion for dinner. So there will be a Sunday show. Sunday at 4:00, the 17th, will be the next show. The Saturday the 23rd, I'm pretty sure it will be on Saturday. And then the 27th, you know what's going to happen. You know Slaughter is coming on. Turkey will be served early if what I think happens. So that's coming up for the rest of the month. Man, the holidays are coming up real fast. Yeah, they're coming up real fast. Slaughter in the water.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's coming up the night before Thanksgiving. And then yeah. Turkey will be served through a straw. Yeah. I would not doubt it. Sandra's got a lot of baking to do. The goddess says, Phantom Boomer says, "Mwah. No, we don't know what is happening. Don't tell. Oh, please tell us." Yeah. No pop culture breakdown tonight.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you didn't say.
Let's see.
I would ask Gary, but Gary wouldn't say.
Yeah. 590 is great. The one we have is the military version used by SEALs and the Green Berets. Heat shield, dual extractor, bayonet lug. Jeez. I'm going to be careful around you, Agent Pepsi One. We love you too. See you Sunday. And Snorter Poopa says, take care of every human, dolphin, dog, or Dalek, ferret, eagle, hedgehog, and Pacific Barrel Eye Fish, a wholly owned subsidiary of King Dolphin TV.
Oh, I love the copyright TM. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you're right, TMS. And don't forget to go to Zazzle and get the new King Dolphin TV lifeguard shirt. We ought to all get one so we're ready to go to PodCon wearing that. Phantom Boomer says, mine's an old 500 combo that I've upgraded quite a bit. All right, let's see. He's got a joke. And we got to wrap this up. Let's see. Joke for the pod. Man is found starving in the Man is found starving in the forest, but they found he has killed and eaten a bald eagle. He is released due to he was released due to the situation. The judge asks, "What does eagle taste like?" Cross between. You didn't finish the joke. I didn't say two. God. I know. We need to take her to the range. And Fez says, 99 all. Great show. Thanks for your service.
Yeah,
You are most welcome, Fez.
definitely.
Thank you for your service, Hark. Kelly.
Yep.
Thanks for Sandra for hers, Agent Pepsi for hers, SP4H, Phantom Boomer. Thank you all for your service. Freedom is not free.
Exactly.
And there's the site. And okay. All right. Let's close out. Let's close out the show notes, and then I'll start saying goodnight to everybody.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. Yeah, with Mr. Reagan and Sandra too. It's time for show notes. We're bringing it on. It's time for show notes. You've all been warned. It's time for show notes.
All right. Well, let me thank everybody who has been here. We had visiting the chat. We had Disney Sheepherder. We had Glenn Davis. We had Phantom Outsider. We had Pudgy Hedgehog and Cobalt in the background. We had SP4H, and thank you for your service, sir. Hello, Dalek 451.
Hey, Dalek. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? Let's see. We had. I did say Phantom Outsider. I said Pudgy. The Phantom Boomer Explorers. Thank you, and thank you for your service. And now the amazing lifeguard crew. Let me start with Snort the Poopas! Cuber. That scream. Hashtag roar. Great show. Thank you all for your service. See you Sunday. Gotta do Snort the Poopas.
Uncanny.
What was that?
Uncanny resemblance.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. We got and Snort's in shock. Let's see. We had our two co-hosts here. Wendy Webb. Thank you for your service, and we love you, Wendy. John Rendell, thank you, sir. It's always good that you're here. Fez forever. Agent Pepsi One, Agent Pepsi One. They've given you a number and taken away your name. thank you for your service, Agent Pepsi One. Helicopter maintenance extraordinaire. Hi, Dalek, and thank you for popping on by. Thank you, FKHC 2005, for being here. Legato Legion, thank you very much for being here. Good to have you here. And so that, okay, so that is everybody. And Kelly, I would like to once again thank you for taking the time to for this this Veterans Day interview. And I had a great time.
Yeah.
So always
Absolutely.
a great time. Always a great time telling stories and just remembering the times we were doing our duty. And there's the site again if you're so interested.
Mine Mach 1 for life.
Yep. And all right. And anyone going to visit Zazzle? And of course, there it goes. Check out all things Dolphin Wars. Good. I'm glad to hear it, Dalek.
Yep.
And you can check this out on the rewind. Again, if I missed anybody who had served, I think I got everybody who had served. Even if you didn't serve, if you see a veteran out there, thank them for their service. In fact, it was funny. We went to a Denny's, and I was wearing my hat, and this kid, out of nowhere, just comes over to me, hands me a challenge, an Armed Forces challenge coin, saying thank you for your service.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry right here.
Right.
So, yes, thank the veteran for their service, and thank you all who served, Bert, Kelly, and everybody out there. And we will see you on Sunday. I love you guys. Take care.